right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A 13-year-old boy robbed at a school bus stop.
We need to do what we need to do to protect our young people.
Tonight, the grassroots effort to keep other kids safe.
Temperatures rise through tomorrow. Sunshine with our nicest day of the week. Then rain at times and when the heaviest is expected.
Our top story, going behind cell doors. Just hours ago, members of a civilian oversight board went inside the City Justice Center for the first time, and they left with more questions.
We've not been able to talk to detainees. We've not been able to talk to correctional officers.
The downtown jail has been plagued by inmate deaths, overdoses, and even assaults on guards and inmates. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Today's tour came nearly 18 months after the formation of a board charged with investigating claims of misconduct and other issues at the jail. Our Laura Barczewski talked with board members shortly after their visit, and Laura reports they didn't get to see everything they wanted to. Laura?
Yes, Mike and Kelly, they really didn't get to see much except for parts of the 5th floor. However, they tell me their conversation with the jail commissioner was productive and a good first step. After months and months of requesting access to the St. Louis City Justice Center, 3 members of the Detention Facilities Oversight Board were finally able to get inside the jail for just under an hour when they asked for 2.
We were shown the new locks where the locks had been repaired on the 5th floor. We have been told very candidly that there are still units where the locks have not been fixed.
Board Chairman Reverend Darrell Gray says from there it quickly turned into a private meeting with Corrections Commissioner Jennifer Clemens Abdullah. He has previously called for her resignation, but after this is hopeful there will be progress.
Her commitment to allow our staff to have access. That is the number one thing that I brought from it.
A recent board bill by St. Louis Alderman Rasheen Aldridge, which hasn't been signed by the mayor yet, aims to provide the board more access to the jail and information they need to investigate claims.
Trying to get real transparency and oversight to a facility that is desperately needed. In the last several years, there's been 10 deaths. Under this jail commissioners, there's been 7 alone. That's unacceptable. Jail is not a place of luxury, but it definitely shouldn't be a place where people's lives are being taken behind these bars.
For that very reason, Gray says they wanted to see the medical facility and still have a lot of questions they need answered.
Not only have people died, we want to know if those deaths were preventable. We're talking about overdoses. We're talking about other medical problems. How well equipped has the medical staff been at diagnosing medical problems of detainees?
Reverend Gray says they also wanted to look at the kitchen because there have been nutritional complaints, and they're still very concerned about the staffing levels, but they're going to discuss this whole visit and more at their next meeting on Monday. Reporting live from downtown, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
Well, another chilly night across St. Louis, but a big Wednesday warm-up is on the way. Meteorologist Jim Castillo is in for Scott tonight, and he joins us now with that weather first forecast. Jim?
Yeah, Mike, tomorrow's the nicest day of the week and the sunshine, and we're back in the 50s, which is great. But this morning we started out at 23 degrees with a wind chill down in the teens. So yes, it was really cold to start, and throughout the day we were in the 30s. But look what happens after midnight tonight. We see that temperature start to rise a little bit with a southerly wind, and then tomorrow's high temperatures at about 56 with that sunshine and a west wind of about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So if you have any holiday decorations you want to put outside, tomorrow's a great day to do that. So temperatures rise a little bit tonight, not as cold as it was last night. Warmer sunshine for Wednesday, but then really good rain as we get into Thursday and Friday. And I'll time out when the heaviest rain is expected, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Jim. New tonight, a shocking crime against a 13-year-old boy has angered many in a North St. Louis community.
Tonight, police are looking for the group who robbed the young boy at gunpoint, who just got off a school bus. It happened yesterday afternoon in the Greaterville neighborhood. Robert Townsend reports the crime has pushed the alderwoman in the area to take action.
No doubt it was an unexpected scare for a middle schooler.
Innocent kid trying to walk home.
Police say around 3 Monday afternoon, the 13-year-old got off his school bus near Vandeventer and Ashland Avenues in North St. Louis. Investigators say 10 suspects walked up to the boy and asked if he wanted to buy some marijuana. When the teen said no, police say one of the guys pulled out a gun, pointed it at the boy's chest, and stole numerous items from him.
You taking advantage of somebody. That's what makes me mad.
It happened near Pastor Gregory Purnell's church and this daycare center in older woman Sharon Tyus's 12th ward.
You can't walk home freely just to walk without a bunch of thugs. I'm gonna say it just like that. A bunch of thugs want to come and impose their will.
I'm disappointed. I'm saddened. We have to protect our babies.
Police haven't said if the 10 suspects are actually teens themselves. The good news, that little boy was not hurt in any way, and people in this neighborhood are definitely glad about that.
A lot of what we need to do is focus on how we make sure the young people are safe.
Immediately after I told Alderwoman Tyus about the armed robbery at the school bus stop, Tyus got on the phone, called several neighborhood dads, and on Wednesday,
Hopefully there will be some men out here who have already agreed to be out here looking out for her. We have to think about being proactive.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Alderwoman Tyus is also planning a neighborhood meeting for that area. She hopes to get more parents to volunteer and stand at school bus stops when students are there.
New tonight, exactly 1 year after taking office, St. Louis City Board President Megan Green delivered her inaugural legislative report tonight. Green talked about efforts to address crime, homelessness, affordable housing, and the effects of short-term rentals. She also touted the Guaranteed Basic Income Program. More than 500 St. Louis families will receive $500 monthly payments for the next 18 months.
Studies show that families use these payments to subsidize the cost of housing, pay down debt, or pursue higher paying jobs. And I'm happy to say tonight that the first payments are scheduled to reach families ahead of the Christmas holiday.
Green also announced a plan to use $800,000 in federal pandemic relief funding toward the $80 million in medical debt held by city residents.
With just weeks until Christmas, around 1,000 steelworkers in the Metro East are learning they could soon be out of a job. U.S. Steel sent a notice today it will idle its Granite City plant indefinitely. The company anticipates 60% of those workers will lose their jobs. Those layoffs will likely begin in 2 months. Tonight, a group of local moms are in the nation's capital fighting for federal funding to compensate people in St. Louis impacted by radioactive waste. Over the summer, Senator Josh Hawley secured a bipartisan vote to add an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act. Just Moms STL says this is their last shot to get the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act passed.
I think we're just really proud of what's going on and the partnership and the coalitions that have been built in this, and we're not done. We still have a lot of fight left in us, and we think our senator does too.
Senator Hawley has pledged to hold up the National Defense Authorization Act if it does not include compensation for the victims of radiation in the greater St. Louis area.
Pope Francis is evicting a former St. Louis Archbishop from his home at the Vatican and taking away his retirement salary. Cardinal Raymond Burke is one of the pontiff's highest-ranking critics. 2 Vatican insiders tell the Associated Press that Pope Francis called the conservative cardinal the source of disunity within the church. Burke led the Archdiocese of St. Louis from 2004 to 2008.
There is less than 2 hours left of Giving Tuesday, but tonight that is still enough time to support one of your favorite nonprofits making a difference right here in our area.
5 on your side's Brent Solomon joins us now with a look at some local groups hoping to benefit from your generosity.
Well, Mike, Kelly, we've had Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. Well, today we keep it going with Giving Tuesday. Not all companies have a huge overhead or payroll. Some of them rely on donations to fulfill critical needs in our community.
These young learners are on a mission, making memorable melodies.
And I love the sound of piano.
This 12-year-old is one of the students here at Pianos for People.
It makes me feel relaxed, like the same thing when you paint.
She tells me she's inspired by the pros who play with ease.
The way the piano players play it and make me more interesting about
You
it.
like that?
Yeah.
You're going to be one of them, one of those expert players.
I wish to.
That's why staff here do this week after week, not only teaching music, but also building confidence.
The support system that we have here that says, yes, you can.
It's why donations are the lifeline.
It allows us to keep this mission going, to change lives through music.
You got to either move a piece in front of your king or you got to move your king out of chair.
Over at Meadows Elementary, even more lessons are happening.
Chess is where we actually are able to give the young people strategy, help them learn focus, and also how to plan.
It's one of the components of Dream Builders for Equity, reaching kids while they're young.
The power of being focused and the power of taking ownership into your own destiny.
Students learning chess and in the process learning so much more through mentorship. With donations, this program has now spread to 6 schools. Another component teaches young people how to rehab homes. Residents in need benefiting from those services.
This is just another avenue for us to be able to show our work to young people. Ooh, it's a good move. It's a good move.
Both organizations have donation links on their websites. Nationwide, $3 million helped organizations on Giving Tuesday, and a similar community effort happens in about 5 months. Give STL Day, which has the same mission, will happen on May 9th.
Brent, thanks. We made it easy to give to local reputable charities on Giving Tuesday. Just text the word GIVING to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you the list.
Hostage handover. Tonight, the talks between Israel and Hamas to extend a temporary truce, replacing an essential lifeline for your wireless phone.
You can't always rely on brand or price.
Tonight, we put popular phone charging cords through the ringer while plugging you in on the best bargains.
After a chilly start, dry and warmer tomorrow, then you'll need your umbrella. I'll time out 2 days of rain.
Tonight, Hamas handed over more hostages as the pause in fighting with Israel reached a 5th day. Hamas released this edited video of the latest exchange of people taken from Israel last month and Palestinian prisoners. Talks continue tonight on extending the truce to allow a broader hostage deal and humanitarian aid into Gaza.
Tonight in Vermont, a candlelight vigil was held for 3 college students of Palestinian descent. They were shot over the weekend in what the FBI is investigating as a possible hate crime. One of the victims is out of the hospital tonight. The mother of another victim says her son may never walk again. One man has been charged in the shootings. Former First Lady Rosalind Carter will be laid to rest tomorrow.
Today, President Biden, former President Clinton, and 5 living First Ladies attended a memorial service in Atlanta. Former President Jimmy Carter made a rare public appearance. The 99-year-old who's in hospice care was in a wheelchair and unable to speak. The Carter's daughter, Amy, read a love letter Jimmy wrote to Rosalind as a newlywed in the Navy.
But when I see you, I fall in love with you all over again. Does that seem strange to you? It doesn't to me. Goodbye, darling. Until tomorrow.
A funeral will be held tomorrow. She'll be buried near their home in Plains, Georgia. Rosalind Carter was 96.
Well, the holiday shopping season is off to a record start. Cyber Monday was the biggest online shopping day ever. According to Adobe Analytics, U.S. consumers spent a record $12.4 billion yesterday. Altogether, $38 billion were spent online over the 5 days between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday. That's nearly $16 million every minute.
Phone charging cords. Without them, we'd all be lost. You can buy them just about anywhere. Some are cheap, some are expensive. Tonight, Consumer Reports puts them all to the test and reveals if price really matters.
Consumer Reports took a close look at low-price charging cords sold at retailers like Amazon, Five Below, and Walmart to see how they stack up against cords sold by Apple and Samsung. They bought 7 cords in all, ranging in price from $4.88 to $29.
We found the best of the bunch could last more than 6 years, while the worst may not even make it 6 months.
CR's experts estimate that we all bend and twist our charging cords in some way about 5 times a day. Using that number, they calculated how many bends and twists each cable would have to endure to last for a year and a half. How did they do that? First, using a motorized rig, they repeatedly bent one end of each cord into a 90-degree angle until it stopped working. In the second test, the rig twisted each cord more than 2,500 times.
All the cords passed the twist test, but only 2 passed the bend test.
The cords that did worse lasted fewer than 800 bends. The Bitech USB-C cord from Five Below died before 710 bends, while lightning cords from Amazon Basics and Walmart both stopped working before 796 bends. Walmart's USB-C cord did better, hanging on for close to 1,656 bends. Those that did the best were Apple's Lightning cord for iPhones 5 through 14 and the Amazon Basics USB-C cord for the iPhone 15, Android phones, laptops, and tablets. Both survived 11,500 bends, which means they could last you more than 6 years.
The bottom line here, you can't always rely on brand or price or something like thickness when choosing a charging cord.
That's because both the $29 Apple cord and the $655 Amazon Basics cord did the best in CR's tests, and because Apple's thin Lightning cord outperformed the thicker ones.
And if you're not sure what to do with your old cords, Best Buy says on its website it accepts them as part of its recycling program.
3, 2, 1.
House Speaker Mike Johnson flipped the switch on the Capitol Christmas tree tonight. Beautiful tree. The 63-foot Norway spruce is decked out in more than 5,000 lights and ornaments. The tradition dates back nearly 60 years. And just about 2 miles away, they were screaming, not singing, "Oh, Christmas tree." Gusty winds toppled the national Christmas tree. The National Park Service says it will have the tree back in place on the ellipse in time for Thursday's scheduled lighting ceremony.
And meteorologist Jim Castillo is in for Scotty. Rejoins us now with that weather first forecast. And we were talking earlier, we're in for a bit of a warm-up, Jim.
Yeah, we really are. Tomorrow's the best day of the week because of the sunshine, the light wind, and highs in the mid-50s. You're going to love it. Now, this morning, not only did we have wind gusts in D.C. to 40 miles an hour, but here to 30 miles an hour, and that really made it feel even colder this morning. So now the wind is dying down. Here's the Missouri Botanical Garden. The garden glow is done for the evening. What a beautiful day for it, though. And that high today, 37. That's it. 23 for that low, so very cold. 50 and 33 are the averages. And what we're looking at right now, well, probably one of the cooler readings of the night, 32. So by midnight, about 31. And then we start to see this temperature go up a little bit with that southerly wind. It's starting to shift a little bit. And that humidity is going up slightly, but a really dry air. It was in place all day. So lows tonight at about really 31 at midnight, maybe 30. Otherwise, 20s outside of the city. And this warm front, as it comes closer to us tonight, it's just to the west of us, then we'll start to see more of a southerly wind as high pressure down here spins around clockwise and brings in more of that south flow, and that'll warm us up tomorrow. Beautiful day. So low pressure right there off of San Francisco, Northern California. That's actually our next low that comes our way as we get into Thursday and Friday. So watch this low move from north, really New Mexico into Texas and also Oklahoma, and then push in our direction. So rain at times as we get into Thursday. It does become a little bit steadier, probably a little heavier as we get into Thursday evening, Thursday night, and before sunrise on Friday. But still some rain chances around Friday. But look, no snow, no ice. Looks like that will stay north and west of Kansas City as we get into late Friday. So it's just not cold enough for us here. So that rain potential, it's there for a widespread event coming our way, especially later Thursday night into Friday, for over an inch in many areas. Some of the models take us to a half an inch and to as much as 2 inches of rain. So we'll watch that. We need it. The drought monitor, still a very big drought that continues to become even worse as we get into the next couple of months here. All right, so 10-day forecast showing temperatures in the 50s, and that's above average as we get into this weekend forecast coming up. Maybe a spot shower Saturday and Sunday, but mainly dry weather. So pretty decent.
Wednesday's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Jim, thanks.
Well, 5 on Your Side is teaming up with the Foster and Adoptive Care Coalition for the Little Wishes campaign. We are asking you to buy a holiday gift for a child impacted by foster care. You can shop online or show up this Saturday at Circle of Knowledge in Sunset Hills. We have more information at ksdk.com/Little Wishes. Frank is next with sports.
And we have a little bit of everything. The Blues in Minnesota, the basketball Tigers in Pittsburgh, and the Billikens at Shavitz.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
Sympathy is a nice characteristic to have in life. It's not necessary in the NHL, though. Like the Minnesota Wild are a mess. A 7-game losing streak, and they had to change coaches. Should the Blues care at all? No way. Every game with this team could determine their playoff chances. Now, Taylor's having a good year. Colton Parayko, that Rocket ties the game at 1. It's a dad's trip, and Colton's papa was a proud father right there. Remember Pat Maroon, number 20 for the Wild now. Loose puck and the assist to Patrick Giroux, who beats Jordan Binnington, the pride of Oakville, with a nice moment there. The Wild dominated the second period, outshooting the Blues 17-5. It could have been a blowout, but Binnington was brilliant. However, in the third, Matt Boldy, breakaway goal. Wild win it 3-1. Look, when you lose 4/5 of your starting lineup from last year, and you start the season and lose your most gifted offensive player, Sincere Parker, to a broken bone, and your center's about 6'4", you may be in trouble. That is the SLU basketball story. This team could use a 22-year-old Joe Wiley. Wow, what a player he was. So is Gibson Jimerson, who had 28 tonight and passed Ed McCauley on the all-time scoring list. Coolest name in college sports, Great Osabar. Is his little brother named Very Good? Great had 24 points and 13 boards. Billikens made a nice comeback late, but Mike Meadows comes up short here. Utah State beats the Billikens 81-76. All right, let's talk Mizzou. You lose this game to Jackson State a while back, and you're 0-7 against the point spread, and you start to wonder. Don't. Dennis Gates is now 31-12 at Mizzou, and tonight, the biggest win of the season at Pittsburgh. Stop the presses. He actually smiled during the game. Sean East must have worked on his jumper. He's having a great year. Mizzou up 3 at halftime. East shot 22% from 3 last year. He's shooting over 50 this year. Dunk of the night, Aiden Shaw, alley-oop over his head. And 7'5", Connor Vanover with an exclamation point dunk. Mizzou wins a big one, 71-64. So I'm not sure how many people thought the football team was going to be higher ranked than the basketball team at Mizzou. But the college football rankings are out, and Mizzou remains 9th in the country. Part of that is because of this man, Cody Schrader. Today, the pride of Lutheran South was named one of 3 finalists for the Doak Walker Award for best running back in the country. He's 2nd in the country in rushing. I am a Heisman Trophy voter. I'm not allowed to give you my vote, but I do know how to spell Schrader. Torrey Holt is a Hall of Fame semifinalist for the 10th time. Nobody on the list of 25 announced today has been a semifinalist for 10 years. He has some competition at the wide receiver spot with Reggie Wayne and Calvin Johnson. He set the record with 1,300 yards in 6 consecutive seasons. This is going to be a nice event on Saturday from 10 to 12. It's a toy drive in Olivet. 314 Sports Cards, hosted by Cardinal broadcaster Benji Molina. It was an idea that came from a fellow Cardinal employee and benefits the organization Sweet Celebrations.
It's like a foster home kind of thing for these kids that are really, really in need of presents. So this initiative was brought up to me by Ben Boyd, and it was so cool. So as soon as he mentioned it, I was on board. I said, how can we make it happen? But it's really, really special for me.
And Benji will be our special guest on Sports Plus this Sunday, and he will answer the question, who would win in a race between he and Yachty?
Ooh.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Well, every dog has its day, and the efforts to get this pooch out of a rough spot. Stay with us. Soon, you may not have to worry about forgetting or misplacing your work badge. Amazon is making its palm scanning technology available to businesses. The tech giant says the biometric system is cheaper and more secure than badges, fobs, or passwords.
A curious dog in Kentucky is safe and back above street level tonight. Sebastian the Husky became stuck in a storm sewer drain. Animal control had to remove the manhole to get him out. They're not sure how he got in there, but believe the spunky pup may have been chasing a small animal.
Squeezed in there?
I'm thinking maybe a squirrel.
Yeah. Would LaRue do that? Would he do that?
When she was young and spunky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much
Probably
anymore.
not so much.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
And be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great evening and have a great tomorrow.